to go. All right. Good to go.
Okay.
Then you kind of flip back and forth.
All right. As long as I remember to turn this. I don't have to turn it like way up.
No, just halfway up. Yeah, right there. You good?
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. I'll get the heat on, but I'll turn it down some. I'll be getting colder again.
No, I understand. I'll be doing that in my office.
What you got going on this weekend? You know, I host the reggae thing tomorrow night.
Okay.
About Marley.
All right. No, I have to look into it. It's been all work. So now YouTube, like Facebook, places like that, they can hear or just see. Because I got the.
Yeah, we turn your mic on there, here.
Oh, right now they can just see us in right. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I don't have nothing. I'll have to look. Where is it at?
Slow down. That's tomorrow night.
Where the heck is it slow down? King, I ain't been out in
14
a year.
And then this concert next week will help promote.
Okay.
That's my concert, my property. But this next week, helping the guy at KC, so it should be a nice concert.
That's what they say. Oh, let me see. About 37 seconds. But I don't have to start now. I can just turn my mic on, right? Yay! I think I like the YouTube view better because I can really see myself.
And then turn your mic up now.
I turn it now?
Yeah. And you start talking to the music. You good.
Hello, everyone. I am back. It is your girl, Nicole Bryan with Laana Solutions, here to speak with you about debt elimination, credit education. And I had mentioned to King that I definitely am open to take some questions around taxes because I realize it is tax season. So please comment, call in, and know that I am here for about the next hour to absolutely help you, the viewer, and the listeners. So let's dive in. All right, so how is everyone doing this fabulous Friday? Here in Omaha, Nebraska, our weather is turning up a little bit. We're not sliding around like we were earlier this week. So I was pulling some stats. I'm a stats girl. I don't know about you guys, but numbers tell a story. And I think it's important that we all do our homework when it comes to our own numbers, right? Especially our net worth. A lot of people don't want to deal with the net worth. They always want to talk about what they have, but when you start to crunch those numbers, you start to realize you don't have as much of a cash flow as you thought you had. Hello, everyone. So let's talk taxes. So every time the tax year rolls around, the number one thing that I like to share with my audience is a second look. With that being said, some of you are probably like, common sense, second look, right? Taxes, you need to have another set of eyes on your said taxes. And the reason I say this is because I ran a tax office for a few years, and we find so many errors when people come in to get a free second look is what some offices will offer right after the peak during tax season, and find out that ABC tax agency did not give them the credits and the deductions that were due to them. We've also found cases where we have clients, especially small business clients, who were either doing the taxes themselves or they had a friend or a friend of the family doing their taxes, only to find out once again there's a ton of errors, or they're missing out on so many different credits and deductions. So every year we get new tax laws, right? And anybody who's familiar with the Pub 17, you can go to the IRS and it gives you a list of all these different tax laws. Not many people are reading through that. Why would you if you're not a licensed tax professional? I am, and I work with many others. With that being said, second look. If you can think anything when you think taxes this season, I'm going to say second look because you have 3 years you can go back and have your taxes amended if there's errors. So why would companies like H&R Block, Liberty, or whomever else offer this second look? They offer it because they know there's a ton of mistakes that are made. And if anyone's been in one of your local tax offices during this time, traffic is high. So this is like the peak time, right? The IRS is accepting returns. Everyone is trying to hurry up and get their taxes filed. This is normally the peak where the clients that are coming in are the clients that get a refund. We normally don't see our taxers that pay a little closer to April 15th. Not in a big hurry to pay, but in a hurry to get that refund. So with that being said, even if you're getting a refund, I want to ensure that you're getting a second look so that you're getting exactly what you should be getting. And you're not just putting numbers in these TurboTax softwares and not doing your homework. So please, if you don't do anything this year, you guys get a second look. So I was pulling some numbers, and I was actually just trying to find out the number of Americans that have unpaid tax debt. And because it's such a challenging question, they can only give me so much information. But there was approximately 696 billion, and this was in 2022. But after accounting for late payments and enforcement actions, you guys, because the IRS does get to a point where they stop just sending you letters and they really do file the levies on bank accounts. I mean, I have clients that have literally gone through this. So one day you'll be thinking all is well. The next thing you know, your bank account is froze. You got a lien on your property and so much more. So please don't play with the IRS. The net tax gap was about 606 billion. Now in the fiscal year 2023, the IRS collected over 104.1 billion in unpaid assessments on returns. That's just the assessments, you guys, and that was filed with additional tax dues. These numbers can be all over the place, but one thing you need to realize when you're filing your taxes and you're going through those forms, just ask your tax preparer to slow down and help you understand what you're doing, why you're getting a refund. And like I said, you don't have to be a licensed tax professional to just try to get a better understanding of what you're doing when you actually file your taxes. And for those of you who do owe the IRS every year, you can set up tax assessments where you can pay on those quarterly, right? That way you're not waiting until the new year to pay a lump sum. Get those payments broken up into 4 payments if that works for you. You can pay anytime you want. Trust me, if you send a check in, if you know historically that you owe about $5,000 every year, you can pay that whenever you want. Doing a tax assessment, you can set it up and pay it quarterly. But if I'm not mistaken, you can definitely pay that whenever you want. So we have some local tax agencies that I approve of, you guys. And if you're interested in this information, these are people that are vetted and people that I trust. So if I put that Laana Solutions, that Diva stamp on it, you better believe that they have a heart for you and our community here. And they have a track record to prove it. So if you're looking for a tax professional that you can trust, please reach out, let me know. And another thing, I am a licensed tax professional. I do not care to file tax returns, but I do help with eliminating tax debt. So what does that mean for you? When we sit down and we have a consultation, we do go over all your tax information and what strategic moves you can make to either eliminate that tax debt or set yourself up for some type of settlement when needed. I know a lot of people that have hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax debt, and the IRS is very good at working with you. But if you don't try to set up some type of a plan with them, sooner or later, they are coming for you. And I'm not trying to scare you, but they're normally 2 to 3 years behind on collections. Now, in the news, they have hired, I want to say, they said 80 plus collectors or different positions with the IRS about a year ago. And they did start back up a lot of different collections, like I know student loans and different loans that can offset your refund. If you are uncertain due to child support, alimony, unemployment, student loans that could possibly garnish your tax refund, there is a number you can call. And I can also get you that information. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they even have a website set up now where you can go on and you can see if you owe and if your tax refund will be taken. And it's heart-wrenching. When I was running a tax office, people would be so excited. They would pull up in their new truck or automobile to come get their refund check, right? Because after we talk to them, we normally give them a time frame of when the money would be there. And to see the look on their face, keep in mind they got this new truck sitting out there with the in-transits, and they're coming to pick up their check. And back then, when I was running a tax office, and I'm sure still to date, it was some double digits refunds, you guys. I'm talking over 10,000 or more, and they didn't get it. And the sad thing about it is some cases were because the other parent filed, a family member filed, or they had some type of debt that they thought, it was just still in collections and they could possibly work something out, but they weren't able to. Don't let that be you. Make sure you connect so you can go to irs.gov as well and get the offset number if you need it. But just be sure to check. If you don't do anything, make sure you check, you guys. And I am going to speak to you a little bit about your W-2s. When you get a W-2 from your place of employment, please know that the IRS also gets a copy of your W-2. A lot of people don't know that. So when you're going in to file your taxes, if you are trying to add anything to these numbers or using just your pay stub, et cetera, just know that whatever your employer sent you, they also have to send the IRS. And that's why a lot of times when you get audited and they come back and they're asking you for your retirement information or your health savings account or FSA or investment documents, They're asking because these entities have to send them a copy of your information. That's why they have until January 31st to do so, because the IRS wants to get their information ASAP. And for a long time, people will think, oh, well, they're just making sure that we get our W-2s right away so we can file our taxes and we can get a refund. We can say that's the case, but that's not the case. The IRS wants all this proof of what should be paid, and they give the employers and these investment companies and these retirement portfolios until January 31st. And like I tell you guys, every time I come on here, I do not pretend to know it all, right? And that's the number one reason that I really don't care for doing tax returns, because there are so many laws around taxes. No one can know it all. And that's why they make us take our ethics and our educational course annually, just to kind of keep us in the know. But even those credits to keep your license, you really have to be working for a tax office that is seasonal. And even then, you won't know it all. So if I'm dealing with tax debt, just so you know, I go in and I do the research, I do the homework that needs to be done so that we can save you the money that needs to be saved. Because most tax debt cases that I have, they vary, if that makes sense. It's no one size fits all, right? Some people are coming in because they truly cannot pay their taxes. And then you got other people coming in who can actually pay them, but they don't want to go broke trying to pay them. And did you know that they have different ruling around that when you're paying your taxes back? You could actually do the math. They have a calculator for the settlement plan, right? And you may qualify, you may not. If it says you don't qualify for a settlement, please don't let that be the deal breaker, because chances are you still do qualify. You just have to go under a different ruling. You have to go under a different ruling. And the IRS has a lot of different benefits to help you get that tax debt paid off. And then for you, the spouses who are dealing with your husband's tax debt from previous marriage or what have you, they have forms for you as well to help so that you don't lose all your tax money or end up owing on money that your new spouse actually owes. Just a lot of information, you guys. But if you could remember anything, be sure when you file your taxes this year, and even if you've already filed them, get a second look and get an understanding of what you're doing. And you can go to irs.gov, and they will even give you a breakdown of these 1040 forms and any other form you're using to help you get an understanding. You don't have to go that deep. But just know, if you're questioning anything your tax professional is doing, go to irs.gov. Or, of course, call me, Nicole, your dead diva with Laana Solutions, and I would love to help. Because that's one thing we focus on, is removing the fear, right? So that you're not put in a situation where it's like, well, I'm not going to deal with it. We'll deal with it next year. Or we just count stuff as a loss. We don't even care. Soon as we find out, oh, they offset my refund, it must be because of that child support that was owed, or it must be because of my student loans. Please do the work and find out if that's why. Because some of these cases, the way they mishandle files, that's not even the case. And you'll end up dealing with your whole return being taken, and it wasn't your fault. So you want to ensure that the actual reason for the offset is valid. Just like you validate collection items, right? On your credit report, you also need to validate anything you're doing when it comes to taxes. And my business owners, Don't just trust whoever is doing your bookkeeping. Because one thing I found fixing CPA errors is that tax is not the main thing they do. The main thing they do is accounting. And I'm trying to break this down so it can be understood, right? And not misunderstood. We have some amazing CPAs here in Omaha, Nebraska, and our surrounding areas, but I still want you to get a second look. And it's funny to me when I do sit down with a client who's dealing with a lot of debt, and especially if they're a small business and they're quick to be like, well, I have a CPA. And I'm like, okay, that's nice. But I know tax professionals that are better than some CPAs. Not all of them, but they do speak tax. And a lot of them do it year round. So when it comes to your taxes, even if you have a CPA, please get a second look. And I think I've drove that home enough where you guys are like, okay, I'll get a second look. And do your homework. Figure out what's going on with your taxes and why. It's going to start all the way, if you're a wage employee, it's going to start all the way with that W-4, with the deductions you're putting down. And I think they have something set up now, if I'm not mistaken, where some companies, and maybe all, where you don't even get to automatically pick what your W-4 can be. But I could be wrong. I was looking into that the other day, and there was some privy information around that. And speaking of the proper deductions on a W-4, if you don't know, ask. Get with your HR department or get with the IRS or a tax professional and find out for sure what you should be claiming. Because I know folks who are claiming the dog, or they're claiming themselves, and a whole bunch of other people. And it's just them. And they got like 6 dependents. So just make sure you're doing the math and you're doing it right. So let's see. February tax. So I know a big one here in Omaha, Nebraska is H&R Block. We have a lot of people that go to H&R Block. And one thing I want to tell you when it comes to H&R Block is just find out how long the tax professional has worked for H&R Block, and just ensure that if there are any errors or anything that should occur, maybe it's their first year filing taxes, right, that you're covered. Because when I have clients that come in and they have a tax agency that screwed up their taxes, you are able to file a claim with that tax agency so that you don't have to deal with the penalties from the IRS. So when you get that audit letter in the mail, you go right back to that tax agency or that tax professional and you say, how do we fix this? And if they're trying to throw that back in your face as if it's your fault, no, they're the ones that should be educating you on how to file that tax return. That's why you've paid them to take care of it. A lot of those tax agencies are trying to push it right back on you. Don't let that be the case. And they've been able to get away with it because a lot of times we don't know, right? So if you got that audit letter, which they normally start to float around summer, fall, and sometimes sooner after you've filed your taxes. But even if it comes later than sooner, no, you put that right back on that agency and you get the help that you need. Now, if you lied about something, and most tax professionals that I know that are smart, they make you go through a checklist so that they cover everything with you verbatim. So there is no mishandling of the paperwork. And I know this is a lot, you guys. And one thing that I'm good at Laana Solutions is getting on your nerve. And I do it on purpose because I know we're not having these conversations at home. And you don't have to have a family to sit yourself down and create your budgets and get more wisdom around your finances. You know, life is lifing. We know that, right? But every month, when the math is not mathing, I personally and so many other people that I deal with, it would be nice just to blame the world. But at some point, we have to take accountability for our actions. And even if that means picking up a second or third or fourth job, right, or stream of income, because you know you love to shop and you have issues with shopping or going out to eat, there is no excuse to not set up some type of budget, some type of parameters around your finances, especially taxes, so that you are not dealing with more month than money. How many times have we heard that before? I want to give a shout out to Lynn Richardson, who has a book. I think I mentioned this the last time I was on here. And she talks about how to get your money back. Let me see if I can look it up real quick. And you can go to Amazon. And I tell you guys, when we had her on a few years back, National Coalition of 100 Black Women, she rocked our world. She taught us so much around money and different things. Just brilliant. So it's how to get your money back. Let me put in Lynn because I just had a bunch of titles pop up. You guys, I'm live. Please reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Okay, so it's Lynn Richardson, and you can pretty much Google her. She does have a YouTube channel as well. She does a, I want to say like Wealth University. Let me click on her. But for small business owners, especially, when I meet with different clients, I do refer them to her because if you get that book, it enlightens us on so many different things we could be doing as business owners, like hiring our family members to take advantage of a lot of tax benefits. And it's user friendly, so it's not one of those books where you need someone to help you decipher and read. Yeah, but it's Lynn and then just Richardson. Okay, it's called Get Your Money Back. I don't know why I come in the radio station. My Wi-Fi tries to act up. It's called Get Your Money Back, Tax Deductions You Never Knew About. Lynn Richardson. Shout out to her. Please get that book if you don't have that book. And that will help give you a little more understanding about a lot of benefits when it comes to taxes and tax cuts, and credits and deductions. But it's your girl, Nicole Ryan with Laana Solutions, your debt diva. King was asking me last Friday where I had came up with the name Debt Diva. Debt Diva was always a character I was playing around with when I first opened Laana Solutions, and it was just one of those characters. My title was a finance advocate, so it was one of those characters where it was like I just don't play, right? I don't play when it comes to debt, and I don't play when it comes to consumers who have debt. And the reason being is because working in the collection agencies, consumer collections, you become a number like a prisoner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, that part. And then the balance that you owe is just another number. So as managers, right, the only thing we are conversing about are numbers. So it could be Peggy Sue. We are not thinking about Peggy Sue. The only thing we're thinking about is that bank you owe. So Peggy Sue becomes number $15,220, right? And reference number whatever. So when she gets on the phone, I'll be honest with you, a lot of times if my collectors or my AR analysts, don't ask for them by name. You would almost ask for them by an account number because that's what you are. And we're a lot more customer oriented, if you will, customer focused in the collection industry because we had to be due to FDCPA laws. But I tell you the truth, when it comes to collections, whether it be tax debt, credit card debt, medical debt, student loan debt, you are a number. And those collectors, they have goals. And if they don't meet those set goals within 90 days, a lot of them get fired. And I know this because I worked in that industry for over a decade. And some of the hardest things I had to do was have that conversation of having to let people go. But the truth of the matter is when those collectors are reaching out and they're trying to get paid, their jobs are on the line. And at a lot of solutions, we do teach you how to speak to a collector. We teach you the verbiage to get you the favor you need to work out a payment arrangement, a settlement offer that works for you and your family. And not just get on the phone and lie about what you can do so you can hurry up and get them off the phone. Because all that does is send you right over to pre-legal. And then the next thing you know, you're being garnished. And don't be mistaken. If you haven't heard from the collector, haven't gotten anything in the mail because a few years have passed, as soon as the statute of limitations gets ready to run out, they have attorneys that will and do come after you. So keep that in mind. No news when it comes to debt and collection items is not good news. You know how you always hear no news is good news. Not in this case, you guys. You want to make sure you touch base and do the best you can and be honest about it. Seriously be honest. If I can't teach you anything, I'll teach you to be honest. When you are put in a position and you just do not have the funds, you do not have the funds, right? So don't try to make stuff up and say, I'm going to pay you $200 a month when you know darn well you don't have 25 extra a month to pay anything. Just be honest. I don't have it. Don't call me anymore. I'll call you when I do. And did you know that don't call me anymore is a cease and desist? And if you tell them to cease and desist communications with you legally under the FDCPA laws, they have to stop contacting you. Now, when you do that, just ensure you're going to at least follow up with them to see how things are coming along. Because in some cases, they'll jump straight to legal. And instead of waiting and trying to work with you, they'll take you straight to court. So make sure when you're letting them know cease and desist, you can say oral. Let's just do an oral cease and desist, meaning don't call me. And now they can send emails. So let them know how you want to receive the notices. It's okay for, I prefer they send it in writing because the conversations that you have with debt collectors, a lot of times they are not transcribing the way that they should be, not taking notes. You call back later and you thought you had a settlement and they tell you, what settlement? Nope, I don't show that you talked to Mary today, but I can help you. And then you have to start all over trying to speak with somebody about settling your account. Make sure you get everything in writing. So even if you do decide to talk to someone and they decide to negotiate a payment arrangement, especially the IRS, you guys, have them shoot you an email proving that the payment arrangement is solid. Because if it's not in writing, it did not happen. And that goes for, say, in business in general. One thing that I've realized in business, if it's not in writing, it didn't happen. I come from the contract world, where if it's not in writing, it did not happen. So document everything. And if they can't send it in writing, chances are they're just bluffing and they're going to get you to make a payment. And then the next time you talk to them, they're going to say, oh, no, that was just a payment. That was not a settlement. I never said we could settle. And you don't want to get into those arguments. And another thing that you'll find out with debt collectors, you guys, so whether it be tax or credit card debt, they are collectors. And some of them are underpaid, which is sad because before they put all these different laws in place, a collector made a lot of money, a lot of commission. But now they cap their commission and they still fire them. So, and they just don't pay as much as they used to. So a lot of them are already angry as it is. It makes me think of our teachers and police officers and a lot of underpaid folks. But your collectors are actually not paid as much as a lot of them should be because those collection agencies are making millions of dollars and the average collector makes about 20. Your good collectors maybe 25 with commission. So just keep that in mind when you're talking to them about negotiations. They get fired because they didn't hit their goals. You paid the settlement offer and now you got a new collector on your case. So I say all that just to make sure you guys get it all in writing. And if you want them to stop calling you, just tell them to cease and desist. And sometimes they won't even write that down and they'll keep calling you. So a lot of times they'll tell you, no, I don't have to honor that cease and desist. You tell them to give you a fax number or an email or even just an address, and you may have to send it in writing. Certified mail. Anybody who works with collection agencies should know when you are dealing with any type of payment negotiations or settlement by mail, you send that stuff certified mail. That way you have a paper trail. I have a current case I'm working with the IRS to settle an account for one of my clients, and it's a little over $15,000, and we got all the paperwork filed, and we had one of the IRS examiners. They have different levels, different titles as they put you through the settlement pool, right? Well, we had one of the examiners give us some feedback on how to handle this particular settlement, right? Because the client is on Social Security and gets retirement. And I know the IRS, and I know how many different people they have working for them, one period, and then you end up getting another agent, and there's just a bunch going on, right? So I'm real big on getting everything in writing. I kid you not. As soon as we started to work on this file and agree to what she was offering, I mean, because it was something I had never heard of, but I looked into it a little bit and it is true. She couldn't really tell us, so I did the homework to double check on some things. She disappeared. She completely disappeared. But because I follow up and I make sure I have a paper trail, and that's why I do emails, because when it tries to come back, I can show my proof, whether it be in tax court or speaking to some of the decision makers around the offer and compromise. I have a paper trail. So you can try to drop the ball on Laana Solutions if you want to, but we have and we keep a paper trail because we know you have to document everything. Or a lot of those cases just fall through the cracks. And then you, the consumer, the taxpayer, you don't fight it because you've been on the phone for 2 hours and nobody will pick up, right? And you've been relentlessly trying to get a hold of somebody. And then the only time you can get a hold of them is when they're telling you, we're getting ready to put a levy on you. And then you got to show up in court. Please stay on top of it. And if you need help, it's your girl, Nicole Ryan with Laana Solutions, your debt diva. How we doing out there, Omaha? I know everybody's out filing taxes or the lack thereof. There's a lot of companies where you can do remote taxes if you don't have time. They will allow you to drop your taxes off. And they have portals where you don't even have to show up. Maybe for the signing, but no, I don't even think for the signing because everything is set up through soft copy. So if that's you and you're busy and you just don't have time, let me know. And I can definitely connect you to some of these agencies who would love to have your business. And if you need help with any type of debt elimination, especially if you're getting a tax refund, let me know. Don't run out and try to pay everybody right away. Let's set up a plan so you can see who you can actually pay back and how much. You don't want to go flat broke trying to pay everybody back, but you do want to try to work something out so you can give folks what you owe them. And sometimes we don't know what we owe them because we don't have an itemized statement showing us transaction history, payment history, and signed contracts. There is nothing that irks me more than when, and I love you, my beautiful clients, but when I'm working with a client and I get to asking questions about what they owe. And number one, they don't know what they owe. They don't know why they owe it. And they're not aware of any type of contractual agreement. So my thing to them is always, well, if you don't know, I'm not going to recommend you just outright pay. So what we do, we get the burden of proof, right? We get the contract, we get the transaction history, we get the transfer history. If it's been legally transferred to a collection agency or a debt buyer, right? Because those attorneys will send you letters trying to scare you and they're acting as collectors. Can they file a garnishment against you? Probably a lot quicker than a collection agency would. Indeed, they're attorneys, but they use their letterheads to scare the crap out of you. But what you need to understand is when they are collecting, they are debt collectors, okay? So don't be afraid because they'll work with you too. As a matter of fact, I found that the attorneys will work with you a lot more than just your average debt collection. I feel like the collection agencies, depending on what type of collector you get on the phone, they take things a lot more personal. When you're working with those attorneys are business. They are strictly business. And they're a lot more willing to work out and negotiate the numbers versus when you get a debt collector on. But for those of you that have been chiming in, I am so excited to be here. If you have a pen or a piece of paper, I can give you my number. You can always reach out to the show, 95.7, The Boss, and they can get you my information. But you can reach me at 402-817-3049. And if you are listening in or watching from a different state, you can call toll free 888-568-6312. I don't call myself enough, so I got to double check. But I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited about 2025. I'm excited about all of the people who are starting to get serious about debt elimination and financial literacy. There are so many amazing programs out here, so many nonprofits that you can work with for free. I just left UNO earlier. They have a program called DASH for the students and different individuals. Grow Nebraska Women Business Center. Shout out to Eden and Nicola and Janelle. Chariots for Hope. They're helping with transportation barriers. And these are nonprofits that are for you. And they're so amazing. They have financial pieces in place to educate you, the business owner, you, the transportation owner, even if you are financing it. They're teaching us how to manage our money and take better care of our transportation. I think of emerging ladies where Tiffany Gamble is teaching the young girls about tech and how to dive into this techie world with some of the other folks. And then she targets our beautiful young Black ladies here. You guys, if you're looking to partner up with associations like Urban League and so many more, Omaha is a place where they are truly pouring into their people. We got the Empowerment Network. They are relentlessly connecting all of us together. And if I left you out, I apologize, but I've been blessed to work with so many of you. Candace over there at Home Team Auto Sales. It's more than just a dealership. These are individuals that care about our community, and they're going to educate you in that area so that we're not out here making costly mistakes. So whether they're for profit or nonprofit, that's what you get normally if you link up with Laana Solutions, because I'm all about the community and being able to be a blessing to you. And sometimes people don't link up because they feel like they just don't have the money. Hey, it doesn't cost you anything to call and chat. And again, that local number is 402 817 3049. I got about 15 more minutes, you guys. If you do have any questions or concerns, you let me know. One thing you'll find out about me is that when it comes to debt elimination, I can talk. But I'm so glad to have you, those of you that are listening in. I laugh, but you know what? When you're going through financial issues, there's nothing funny about it. It breaks up families. It causes so much anxiety and fear around everything, where you're just going, going, going. I purposely keep a box of tissues in my office because when I get to talking to small business owners and individuals, and I start to ask the probing questions that I ask, their eyes start to water up. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Because I think what they realize is that it's easy to ignore financial matters and just keep going and going and going until you're put in a position where you're garnished, and then they're taking 25% of your paycheck when they can really, if you're head of household, only take 15%. But even then, did you know that even if you're currently being garnished, that those attorneys will still work out a settlement arrangement? Some of them that work for different creditors are not able to, but the majority of them would like to work something out, especially if it's tens of thousands of dollars. They don't want to have to sit around and wait 2 to 3 years or 5 years to get that debt paid in full. They'd rather settle it. But unless you're connecting with the right people, I mean, you wouldn't know that necessarily, right? And that's why Laana Solutions has been a voice in the community. We don't pretend to know it all. But since 2008, that's when the business started as a hobby. And then it became legal in 2011, or should I say registered, right, in Nebraska. And we have saved families and business owners hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably millions if we include corporate America. And I don't say that to boast. I say that to let you know that our core values are trust, experience, and results. We have about a 99% track record. There is one percentile that may say some things about Laana Solutions, but one thing's for sure. If they allow me to assist and fix any issues that they may have, I will go in and I will do my due diligence to get things turned around or fixed. Because there's nothing worse than to work with someone who does not have your best interest at heart. And that's most companies that do pretend to know everything. You won't get that from Laana Solutions, but you will get a company that is connected to several different affiliates. And what we don't know, we definitely will tell you, but we'll get the correct answer for you. So shout out to all the financial organizations that have supported Laana Solutions over the years. I got Angela Thomas at Ameritrade Financial. We got Earl Johnson and Zola with Lexus Wealth. Shout out to King 95.7 The Boss, who does a very good job at trying to help as many people as he can. And so many more, you guys. So let's talk. Or not. You know how to reach me. I have a lot of backdoor clients, and I respect them. No pun intended, but I understand. So I get a lot of DMs, a lot of direct messages and phone calls later on. So I understand that when it comes to finances, a lot of times it's not something you can openly talk about, especially on social media. But I'm going to get on here and I'm going to ask you one of two things. Did you pull your credit reports? Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. And you can put a .com on each of those and pull up their websites. And you don't have to upgrade to the premium. You can just have an open account with them for free. And that goes for your small business, Experian.com as well. And if you need help getting those credit reports pulled, please reach out. If you need help reading through those credit reports, right? What these codes on the credit report mean, please reach out. If you don't do anything for 2025, get a second look on your taxes, all right? And pull your credit reports. You guys have been great. I will be getting ready to wrap up here in a little bit. And unlike last Friday, at least King is close, just in case I need some help. Make sure you reach out, you guys. 402-817-3049. That's for tax questions, any type of credit card debt, any type of collection, negotiations and settlements, debt elimination in general. You can Google a lot of this stuff, you guys. They have apps out now where you can go in with your information and it will just spit out how to raise your credit scores. Stuff is so techy now, but if you really do want to sit down and speak with live individuals, don't hesitate to call me and send me a message. Ask as many questions as you need to. We have clients all over the states. We're even working on some financial curriculum in Kumasi, Ghana. So shout out to them. But just reach out. And I'll say, even on a lot of my shows, let's just have a conversation. At least you can get it started. I was blessed to refer several different clients to Grow Nebraska's Women Business Center class that just started up this last Tuesday. And they'll have, I want to say, 3 more this year. So make sure when you're able to, you get signed up for stuff like that, because even for a seasoned business like mine, it was invaluable. We learned so much from Winsley and health markets and so many of the other teachers that came in. We have an amazing community here, you guys. Please reach out. Let's all try to stay connected. And if I can help you around debt elimination, credit education, don't hesitate to call me. It's your girl, Nicole Ryan, with Laana Solutions, your debt diva. I'll be back on next Friday, you guys, every Friday around noon or 1 o'clock. So normally around your lunch hour. If you can think of some topics or some questions you might have, please let me know. And I'll be sure to try to get those questions answered, okay? So until then, I'm going to sign off. It might take me a minute, but bye.